Ripple and BlackRock are now friends, but you probably don't know this. They're working together in a much bigger way than you think. I can't believe more people aren't talking about this amazing thing that I'm going to talk about in this video. It has to do with BlackRock depending on Ripple for a very important operation worth trillions and trillions of dollars. I want to talk about BlackRock and Ripple's new relationship in this video. I also want to share some very interesting ideas about how the cryptocurrency industry is shifting away from Bitcoin and toward cryptocurrencies that can be used. Your help is very much appreciated as always. Thanks a lot. Thank you to everyone who liked the movies and signed up for the channel. These two easy things help me a lot. Please let me know of a good place to buy XRP. You can find my best exchange uphold down in the video's description. Okay, I'll just get right to it. I hope you guys enjoy what I have to say. To begin this video, I'm going to talk about how the cryptocurrency industry is changing. For a long time, Bitcoin was the main cryptocurrency used in the industry. And there was a very simple reason why Bitcoin was the center of the cryptocurrency business. Blockchain-based money, like Bitcoin, was the first cryptocurrency to offer it. There was no single controller for decentralized money, which was very useful and let people move from the old banking system to a new one with less risk. This application was pretty easy, right? It's pretty much just USD that you use to buy Bitcoin. It was revolutionary and changed the game. A lot of people became interested in the cryptocurrency business because of it. But now we're moving into a whole new phase of using cryptocurrencies. And it's the traditional banks that everyone was trying to get away from that are now switching to the cryptocurrency financial lines. Because the truth is that cryptocurrencies can be used for a lot more than just getting rid of a third party and working as a store of value or a form of money. A lot of the time, I move money around, and it doesn't really matter to me whether I do it in a controlled or decentralized way. I need the money to go quickly. There are times when I just want the money to move quickly when I'm trying to trade stocks or securities. I don't really care how it's done behind the scenes, I just want the trade to happen quickly and easily. All of these things can be added to the current financial system by blockchain technology. It's pure utility that depends on these base technologies and has nothing to do with Bitcoin or being a decentralized store of value. Bitcoin has really locked itself into the idea that it is a decentralized way to keep value. That's a big use case, but there's a lot more to cryptocurrency technology than that. Just look at the market cap of gold. People find it hard to think bigger right now because adoption is still so new. They saw Bitcoin's main use case and became stuck on the idea that that was the only way this technology could be used. But the truth is that this technology has a lot of uses and we're seeing those uses grow right now. Right now, I want to show you in this video how that's going and why the XRP ledger is going to be the most important thing. First, I'd like to show you a movie of Susan Athey. She is a member of the Ripple board and made an XRP price tool. Plus, I want to tell you what she has to say about Bitcoin, the XRP ledger, and a lot of other technologies, because you'll start to see that most people who saw crypto bought Bitcoin and got attached to it as if it were the only cryptocurrency are missing the bigger picture of what's becoming possible here. This technology can be used in a lot of different ways, but that is one of the most interesting ones. Listen to Susan Athey talk about this. As someone who has worked at Ripple since the beginning, let's just say she has some high hopes for the price of XRP if it can be used in this way. Pay attention to this. Some famous tech leaders in Silicon Valley would say, it's scale economies, the best thing doesn't always win. When I first started talking about alternative cryptocurrencies, say in 2013, I was involved with Ripple from the very beginning. These people would say, Bitcoin was first, Bitcoin, everything is going to be Bitcoin. These other things are all going to die. When you think about business software, it's not just like Betamax versus VHS. Or Netscape versus IE, I would quietly raise my hand and say, well, In fact, there are often a lot of different vertical solutions in business software that serve different parts of the market with different sets of features. I thought we would see different methods used for different things. In fact, that's kind of how it's changed over time. That's why I don't think one size fits all. Ripple wants to be able to send hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars between banks around the world, so they need a system that can grow very quickly. That's why I think Susan Athey got it right. Different things will be used for it. There are various bands that are good at various tasks. It's not that hard to understand. In fact, the Bitcoin network doesn't even have tokenization built in. Big banks can't even talk about tokenization or how it will change the financial system when they talk about it. But I'm not sure where the fight is about whether or not other cryptocurrency networks will be a part of the picture. So if the Bitcoin network could support tokenization, instant settlement, low transaction fees, high throughput, high TPS, and work with all these big banks to tokenize their backends, then I would say that some of these other things might not be useful after all. It's clear that Bitcoin is winning. On Bitcoin, though, none of those things are taking place. Those things are taking place on other chains. This is the part that people need to understand the most. This led people to become interested in cryptocurrencies. But for the next level of applications, things will happen in different places. Places that were designed and built to handle those apps. It was made to handle payments, settlement, and liquidity, like the XRP ledger you just heard about. These are some of the most important banking apps out there, and Ripple is working to get them used by more people. To make sure that old financial companies can use this technology and improve their backend, they are working with them. Ripple is giving these old players the new rails and telling them, hey, let us show you how to integrate this. Your whole system will work better after this. This is how you get people to use the new tools. And it has to be a machine that was made to do this. Not making any sense at all to try to get people to use the Bitcoin network to do things it wasn't designed to do. At the moment, though, these banks are saying, yes, we want to do this. This is what we need to do. It's important for our business. There needs to be someone to help us with this. And technology that is good at doing this. This is exactly what the XRP system is meant to do for Ripple. And I think that's the best way to win. I have something very interesting to share with you that shows this is happening. It just came out the other day. The DTCC just put out a patent that talks about all the different blockchain technologies that they believe will be important in fixing the problems of the next generation of financial systems. Some people say that Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of the old networks. Right? They talk about things like HBAR and the XRP database when they talk about things that will happen in the future. They also list Cosmos, Binance, and a few other chains. But the point is that even the DTCC says that putting payments and liquidity on the XRP ledger and putting tokenized stocks and settlement on Hedera are two very big uses for this technology. Right now, we can see that these big banks don't see Bitcoin as an idealistic thing. They look at the business as a whole and say, hey, Bitcoin might be a good way to store some value, but it's not going to be how we clear liquidity, settle payments, or settle transactions. No, there are other chains that are made to do that. They also don't have the same Bitcoin maximalism that was common at the beginning of the project. They are taking a business-like view of things. Their job is to figure out which of these things will best help them solve their problem and how to best use that thing to solve their problem. We use something if it helps our business or fixes a problem we have. It doesn't matter what chain it's on. They need a chain that can hold it. They want someone to help them work it into their process. Finally, I'd like to tell you one last thing because I don't think many people